Yeah, we in there. Yo, what's up? What's up, everybody? Just North Sports Show.
Word.
Thank everybody for tuning in. You know what it is. You know where to check it. You know where to check us. What's going on, fellas? Tell me something good.
Oh, man. March Madness, baby. March Madness. It's coming in strong, coming in hot, man.
NBA's heating up, too.
Yeah.
It is. It's heating up. It's heating up,
go down, man.
It's going to be all right, man. It's going to be all right. I checked out a little bit of that Texas-Kansas game. Well, no, Texas-Baylor. Baylor pulled off. Well, no, they really kind of held up. They really kind of held on. I'm taking that out for real.
Yeah.
And
I wasn't no held on. We was up 20 something to 3.
No, Baylor was dog walking Texas. The Texas fought back at the end to make it look a little bit more closer than what it actually was. I sat there and watched it. Not Kansas versus Baylor, Texas versus Baylor. Saturday night.
I know.
Yeah. Texas was up early, but Baylor was handling them.
No, well, Texas jumped up early, then Baylor jumped on them, and then Texas fought back. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. At any rate, this is Just North Sports Show. Got Dr. Producer, Dre Day, Greasy the Dog, Juice Man, Big E back in this thing. Like I said, every Friday night, it's 8 p.m. Anchor, FM, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts, wherever you get all that jazz. So, to me, it looks like the University of Houston is just the best team in college basketball right now. I really can't see too much other than what I've seen. They're 27-2 on the year. Kansas looks good at the top. UCLA and Arizona was kind of swinging at it out west. We ain't seen nothing from Duke, Kansas, nor Kentucky. Texas is in that thing fighting, like I said. Marquette has snuck in. We're going to see about Marquette. I'm not ready to say they're elite. Like right now, I would really have to stand on like Texas.
Hey, where y'all at?
In the Big 12, University of Houston, and I'm still going to roll with Arizona and UCLA out west. Eventually, one of them teams going to have to strike it. I've been rolling with them for the last couple of years, so I think one of them going to end up popping it. I'm not saying anything about Gonzaga. They just a bunch of scrubs in my book.
Hey, Doc, I got something for you. Something I didn't think I'd be saying, but right now, all the way down at the bottom at number 24, you got the fighting Texas Aggies. How you feel about that, Juice? They are 21-8, and look, in that stretch, they've knocked off 3 top 25 opponents. 3, yeah.
That's crazy.
You think your Aggies
That's crazy to think about,
they're gonna get an attorney and do something?
I would like to think so.
You think they can win
Yeah, let me answer that. Hell no.
I would like to think so, but I'm kind of like you when it comes to FSU. You know, you're not into their basketball program. I mean, I can't really take them seriously when it comes to basketball. I mean, what they're doing is nice, but I gotta see it to believe it. So we'll see how far they go.
Man, I don't know. They got a chance to shock the world. They got Alabama coming up this weekend, so they can make a little noise. You never know. Don't rule them out, Juice. Don't rule them out.
Hey, Doc. Man, it's just like football, man. Come on. Ain't no different. Come on, man.
Y'all you never know, man.
Y'all know,
speaking of which,
we ain't even waste no time.
Alabama's.
That's what March Madness
Alabama's in a dog fight right now.
Mm-hmm.
They in a dog fight right now against Auburn, man.
See, the thing about Alabama is the thing about the whole Alabama thing that I don't trust is we don't really know us. Like we know, like whatever with the Brandon Miller situation we talked about a little bit last week. but we don't know when they just gonna be like whatever. The investigation steps up, or we don't know what they're gonna find. You see what I'm saying? And how that could impact the team going down. So we're gonna see with Alabama. It just looks like Houston has just consistently been the best team all season. So maybe we'll see a little bit of throwback to the Five Slammer Jammer days when Clyde and Benny and
I'm gonna go ahead and help you out right now, Doc. Houston gonna get bounced.
Shooters. They need shooters. They get out their defense
to
protect. Houston needs some help. They need shooters. They're very athletic and they play good defense. But yeah, I'm excited, man. Like this is the last week of this thing, and next week it is, man. We'll be looking at them conference tournaments, man. Y'all remember? Yeah. Y'all remember the Fab Five and Jimmy Jackson them going at it, and of course we always talk about the '96 Big East tournament. So I'm really gonna be looking at that Big 12 tournament, and I'll be checking out that Pac-12 tournament. I got to keep my eye on them Wildcats.
What'd you say, King?
No, I said the Big 12 gonna be something nasty, man. It's gonna be a dogfight over there, man. You got Kansas, you got Kansas State, you got Texas, you got Baylor, you got TCU. They all battling, and they all in the top 25.
Yep. Texas got TCU, I think tonight, and then they got Kansas on the weekend, Saturday. So Big 12 is live right now.
It's gonna be a dogfight in the Big 12. Yeah, it is.
That Big 12 is definitely alive, and I plan on checking out consuming as much of that as possible. It's gonna be all the way live. So, what's your sneaky team out there, Dre? Don't be talking about 5 or 6 different brackets, man. Just whoever you've seen this year, they could be like, okay, they. I don't want to hear nothing about no 6 or 7 teams. One team, man.
Uno.
Sneaky team.
One team.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. It might sound crazy, but I don't think they're gonna win it all. But they're gonna surprise. They're gonna surprise y'all again. My Michigan Wolverines. Unranked. They're unranked right now.
That's a good pick. I wouldn't even call Michigan a surprise though. Like the talent is there. They kind of fell off, but that's a pretty good ball club. But I feel you with the Michigan pick. But at any rate, that's a take on that one. Man, there's something been on my mind. I'm gonna give it to you boys straight up, man. Y'all need to stop sounding like y'all take whatever your blood pressure pills, and y'all sound real geriatric, hyping up this '90s basketball like it was just Viet freaking now. It wasn't. I hate to break it to you. The '80s was actually the best era of basketball.
I agree.
I mean,
I totally agree.
And I know what this is stemming from. This is stemming from
Michael Jordan.
A whole bunch of Michael Jeffrey Jordan talk. And what it is that a lot of boys just don't want to face the fact that, look, man, athletes are better, man. If you put Giannis, sorry, not Giannis. Giannis is better than Charles Barkley and Karl Malone already, people. Just face it. It's done. It's a wrap. Charles Barkley was a hooper. Karl Malone, he might be a disgusting human being, but that dude got down. Chris Webber was awesome. Rasheed Wallace was awesome. Kevin Garnett was awesome. Dirk was awesome. We get all that. Charles Oakley and Anthony Mason, we get it. They were bruiser. Otis Thorpe was a bruiser. Horace Grant was a good defender in the post. Like, Dirk and KG and Rasheed will probably give him the toughest matchup, but Barkley, you're just too short, man. That dude's going to turn around and dunk on you all game long, and you can elbow him, and you can rib him, and you can try to push this dude and try to punk this dude or whatever, but that dude's still going to give you 35 points. Y'all need to get off of it, man. I ain't trying to hit. So go post your memes and all that in somebody else in some group or whatever, because I ain't trying to hear, bro. You can't convince me that Giannis wouldn't give Barkley 35 points. Like, realistically, if you know basketball, and get out your feelings for just a second, and if you know basketball, like, seriously, we know what Charles Barkley was. We know he was strong as an ox and as a bull. He can't do nothing with 7-1 moving like that, bro. He couldn't stop Kevin McHale. He'll tell you Kevin McHale was my worst nightmare. So what do you think? What you think Giannis gonna do to him?
Stop Kevin McHale. That was a cold white boy. Who?
What you think? Okay, now look at Kevin McHale. He had bad feet, bad knees, and everything else. Yeah, he was fundamental, but he was slow. What you think Giannis gonna do to him? Y'all need to stop with all that, man.
But I will say this: Giannis might give him 35, but Chuck gonna give him 30 right back.
Yeah.
Chuck ain't no easy guard either.
No, Chuck ain't no easy guard, but it's just I'm just bringing that up as a comparison. It's just a different time. Like if you put Kevin Durant at the small forward, you can't put Anthony Mason out there on that dude, bro. It's not happening, man.
Ain't gonna work.
That ain't happening, man. He can push Scott.
He gonna torch Anthony Mason.
He ain't gonna do nothing. He ain't like Isaiah Thomas told him. What you gonna do? You gonna foul him? You gonna elbow him in the ribs? He gonna come right back down there and dunk on him. And you're gonna be ready to fight because with 3 minutes left in the second quarter, he got 24 points and you got 4 fouls. Man, ain't nobody trying to y'all that. Y'all need the first call don't make it the best call. And that's my take on 90s basketball. And if you really, really just look at it, wasn't it one game in the NBA Finals where it was like the Bulls had like 90-some points and the Jazz had like 57 points, and that was a finals? Come on, bro. 90 points gonna get you dog walked in today's NBA, man. It's just a different era. It's a different time.
So Dino talking about AI, Penny, Hakeem, MJ, and Shaq all in their prime. I mean, Kobe played in the 90s too. We can't forget that.
That's an all-star team, though. You got to look at that. That's an all-star team. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the best pretty much at each position during that respective era. If you go and look at the two guards that Jordan had to face, it was basically Clyde Drexler and Reggie Miller. Man, ain't nobody trying to hear nothing about no John Starks. He was a foul. He was a hack. Man, he was without that, bro. Like, I know Joe Dumars. I know Joe Dumars was a good defender for his size. The dude was 6'3", 185 pounds. Man, he not stopping no Tracy McGrady, no Dwayne Wade, no Kobe Bryant. Say, man, no Devin Booker, no Kevin Durant. Say, bro, y'all need to stop with all that, man. Just realize that the game has changed. And like Big E was saying the other week, if you're a historian of basketball and you really love basketball and you talk the game of basketball like I know most of these boys could play, you can't hate the way the game is going.
But I will say there are players from the 80s and 90s that could definitely make hay nowadays.
That's another thing too, bro.
I'm not saying everybody.
Yeah,
it's only just a handful.
Here's the thing. Great players can play in any era. You can't convince me that LeBron couldn't play in the 80s. You can't, and I've never heard anybody on this panel say Michael Jordan couldn't make it in today's game. Shaq is transcended. AI is transcended. But to act like this whole era of the 90s, this whole 19th,
I don't think Mike, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Mike can play in today.
Yeah, Mike can play. Mike can play. I ain't no discredit to dude like that. But I'm not going to put him. I'm not going to.
I can't.
Why you disagree?
Because
why you think you flourish in this?
Because first off, today's game is all about this outside shot, and nobody's working the post. Yeah, Mike a slasher, but it's boys, man, that'll light Mike up. Seriously.
And we ain't talking about Mike getting lit up. We talking about what Mike will do offensively.
Hell no. Hell no.
No, I'd say offensively Mike will be solid. But the game has changed.
They don't play
Mike will be solid in 2023, bro. He ain't gonna average 30.
They don't play no defense. 25. They don't play no defense. They don't play defense.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this, man. I'm gonna ruffle some.
He gonna be trash, but he ain't gonna put up no 30 assists.
Greasy, you're just a hater when it comes to MJ. Let's just go ahead and put it out
there. You still holding on.
You're just a hater. Hey, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna speak for myself.
I'm gonna let Big E go after you.
There's definitely some bias when we're judging errors as far as, 80s, 90s, or 2000s. But I think since we all grew up in the 90s, playing basketball, whether it be middle school, high school, or whatnot, we saw the guys like MJ, Jason Kidd, Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway. We saw those players with our own eyes, right? So I think there's a natural inclination to think that the 90s were better because those are the players that we saw.
We was kids, basically.
You guys may think differently, but which is cool. So I think if you grew up in the 80s, if you were a teenager in the 80s, you might think the 80s were better than the 90s. I think when it's all said and done, I think it's a matter of opinion, and what you were exposed to as a fan. That's just what I think. But yeah, I
I'm gonna say,
said, Greasy, you're a hater when it comes to MJ.
hold on, we got I'm gonna get the Big E in just a second. It seemed like he was about to drop some real gems, but Dino, my boy, what up, Free World Elite? I see you out there holding it down, man. CST. My question, big brothers, is with the game being more physical in the 90s, when those players in the 90s score more points and be more dominant? You said the game has changed. Different eras, but more physical in the 90s. Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot of
yes.
linebackers playing football in the 90s. You get I understand that. And there goes my Anthony Mason, Charles Smith, kind of like the Otis Thorpe, kind of like type of player. Yeah, they will foul you and they play physical, but I'm gonna come right back down here and I'm 7'1" like Kevin Durant or whatever, and I'm gonna hit this 3 from 35 foot. Okay, what you gonna do? You gonna foul me again? Okay. That's cool. I'm gonna go to the lineup and make this. Yeah.
We have to stop the narrative that fouling was good defense.
Yeah.
That's the problem. We have to stop the narrative that fouling is good defense. Hard fouls in the paint. Okay, so you can foul me hard, hold me, check me. That's what today's era has to do. They have to stay in front of their player, and they ain't hand checking. You know what I mean? There's a reason why John Stockton can lead the league in steals, because he's hand checking. He's right in front of you. Everywhere you go, he's got a chance to steal that ball. And if you can't dribble, he's going to get it. But if you can't hand check and you got to stay in front of your man, what you going to do? Huh?
But you can't say he got all his steals based on hand checking. All of them didn't come from hand checking.
No, they played the passing lane. There was a lot of sloppy passing back in the days too, just like there is now. There is always a lack of fundamentals in some capacity in any era of basketball. And you're going to get that no matter what era you're in, regardless. So if you play the point guard position, your tendency going to have opportunity to get more steals because you're on the ball dominant carry, the person who's you typically guarding the person who's bringing the ball up court. And you're playing the passing lane. So it's going to have opportunity to get those steals a little bit easier as well. So if you're also going to be prone to have more turnovers because you're ball dominant. So all of those things considered is the reason why the statistics get flawed sometimes, thinking that era was just the high defensive era. They were great defensively. Yes, there were some good defenders out there. But the main thing, and it's just like Dino just alluded to right here, the refs swallowed the whistle. Hard fouls were just the thing, but that's not defense.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna piggyback on Big E. I totally agree. So we're gonna go on physicality. The 80s were rougher. If we're gonna talk about that, the 80s were rougher than the 90s. The 90s things started to slack up. You had one dominant center, Shaq, that. Remember, whenever you tried to play zone defense in the 80s, that was a tech. So in the mid to late 90s, okay, we got this dominant big dude. All right, guys, it's okay to play zone defense now. See? So the 80s were worse. So I'm not going to go on all that. Somebody from the 90s like a Jordan would have made it. Doc just discussed this. Doc just said Gianna's going to give Barkley that work. So what you think going to happen to Jordan when he face up against Steph Curry? Steph Curry going to give him that work. I'm sorry.
What's going to happen to Steph Curry when he got to face up to Jordan? It goes both ways.
I know what happens.
So you saying Curry
Jordan going to guard Jordan? No.
42 and a half.
No. Steph is not going to guard Jordan. He's not going to guard him. You bet not guard him. Thompson is going to guard Jordan.
What you think Clay going to get?
I get that.
Clay not even
but if Jordan, I get that. But Jordan is not going to hold Steph Curry. Steph going to give him. Dude, anybody that can pull up from half court like it ain't nothing, like, man, I do this all the time. That's a problem.
So listen, we heard Mike talk for himself. You think Mike will back down from guarding little ass Steph Curry? He's 6'6". Steph Curry's 6'2", 6'4". You think Michael Jordan gonna back down from guarding Curry?
He ain't gonna
Mike
back
has
down.
never faced a shooter like Steph Curry.
He ain't gonna back down from Steph Curry.
I ain't saying he gonna back down. He's never faced a shooter like that.
You saw what happened. You saw what happened when he ran out there on Allen Iverson. He knew the writing was on the wall.
Yeah.
What's up? What's up, Deion Thomas? Deion Thomas is basically disagreeing with everything we said. He said hell no to everything we said on him. But it's all good. What's up, baby boy? Appreciate the love. Appreciate the love. But we can go about that all night in the hypotheticals. We got a little bit more of a hypothetical type of conversation as we head towards the end of the show, but that is take 2, and that is a wrap on that one. Man, so I saw King Great dropped in the notes today, man. The legacy of Kevin Durant. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. Kevin Durant went to Golden State because he wanted to be known as the best player in the world. He wanted to be the protagonist in the story of the NBA 2010 and beyond, which is LeBron James. He went out there, got him a couple championships. He hit a couple shots in LeBron James' face, got him 2. He wanted to be known as that guy. He wanted to surpass LeBron James as the face of the NBA. It did not happen. He's got a legacy. He's going to end up with maybe 2. He got 2. He may end up with 3. He might end up with 4. That's all. I mean, okay, and I mean, like, good player. But at the end of the day, it's like you got bosses and you got workers. Like, he was the best player on that team, but Steph Curry was the most valuable player. And what I mean by that was that none of that works without Stephen Curry. None of it. So, and Kevin Durant was a hard sniper. That's what he was. A doggone good one. Will he ever be better? He never impacted the game the way that LeBron James impacted the game for a longer period of time. He'll go down this top, 25, maybe 20 when it's all said and done. I disagree with the narrative that he's the most gifted scorer of all time. No. Like, at the end of the day, and I keep saying this, man, I'm going to get up off my point about Kevin Durant. The name of the game is basketball. It's not rebound ball. It's not all-around game ball. It's not assist ball. It's not championship ball. It's basketball. The name of the game will always be buckets. And as of today, LeBron James has the most buckets in NBA history, the most points, followed by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, then Karl Malone. So at the end of the day,
Kevin Durant. You're just not going to say Kobe? You just going to leave Kobe out there.
Kobe's not in the top 3. I just named the top 3. But at the end of the day, Kevin Durant, he's a nightmare. He's a walking bucket. But like, okay, that's cool. He won't be in anybody. He won't be in my GOAT conversation. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, Doc. The thing about KD is he hasn't shown us that he can lead a team to the championship. LeBron showed us that, and that's the one thing that separates the two. LeBron had a team full of misfits, a team full of who the hell is that, and he took this team to the chip. And we actually got Kevin Durant had a chance to do the same thing. He didn't have Kyrie. He had a hobbled James Harden, and they couldn't get it done. And the way I can sum it up real quick would just be that he's not that dude. He's not that leader of men that can rally the troops and get them, to elevate their game to the next level to get them where they need to go, which is the chip. We saw Allen Iverson do it. We saw Allen Iverson do it by himself, bro. Come on, Eric Snow and McKee and like, what the hell? Are y'all serious? I know they didn't think that was a caliber team that the Lakers faced in the finals. Wasn't at all.
Deion Thomas back again. He said there are only 2 players today that can win by themselves. That's LeBron and Giannis. I'll take that. If we was on around the horn, I'd give him a point. Dino came back again. He said, but MJ came right back on the other end and did his thing. Yeah, we're going to mute Dino. We don't want to hear nothing about nobody. It's all love, Dino, but we ain't trying to hear that. No, it's all love. Appreciate the comments, bro. Appreciate the comments.
I'll say this. I'll say this about KD, man. I like every time I watch him, when he does an interview, like it just appears to me that he's still in search of validation. Like even after winning 2 championships with Golden State, winning 2 final MVPs, like it just seems like there's this sentiment or narrative around it that those 2 chips didn't really count because he was playing with probably two of the best shooters ever in Steph and Clay. And so, KD's always on social media and he hears the noise. So then he decided to go join Kyrie in Brooklyn. And we see how that turned out. And so I've always felt like he should have, stayed in OKC. And if the organization would have kept James Harden, James Harden, a young Russell Westbrook, I think they could have eventually won a championship if they'd have kept that
Nothing with Westbrook is going to get them anything.
nucleus together. I mean,
we'll never juices Mike.
We'll never know. We'll never know. But I'm just saying, like, I really think.
I see what you're saying.
And even if he wins a champ with Booker and an aging CB3, I think his legacy is already set. It's already done. I don't think he can do anymore. Like as far as recognition as being a great player, he's going to
change the narrative.
He's already a big player.
What about it, Big E?
He can change the narrative. He has to.
Yeah.
See, I understand why people have the opinion they have of KD. As far as him, leaving OKC to go to Golden State and all of that. And you know what? I kind of fell in that trap too, to be honest with you. But then when I start thinking about it, KD just want to hoop, man. KD just want to hoop. He wants to have people that are just around him that are gym rats that just want to get out there and get after it. Now, what I do fault him with is making that leap to Brooklyn without really doing any due diligence, just being like, yeah, and I'm going to Brooklyn. And now a lot of that was the noise. He fell victim to the noise. Everybody saying that, he joined Golden State to just win his rings and all of that stuff, when he was clearly the best player on the court with him, because that 73 win team lost to LeBron James and Kyrie. So they needed somebody to get them over the hump, because they know the one that they did beat them in, LeBron lost Kevin Love and Kyrie. So they knew they needed help to get over that hump, and KD was that help. So to me, I look at KD now as more of like a hired mercenary. You know what I mean? And he's going to continue to bounce around teams if y'all going to be about that BS. He just wants to try to get out there and compete. He'll honor his contract if y'all doing right. But if y'all ain't doing right, he's going to be like, hey, man, I'm out. My time is short. I'm limited. I haven't played 82 games probably in my whole career. So at this point, he's just trying to get out there, compete, and keep trying to win. So, yeah, does he want to go play with good teams? I mean, yeah. Building from the ground up is not for everybody. He did that for, 9 years in OKC, got him as far as he could. They still came up short. So, I mean, I'm not mad at him for wanting to go out there and just try to get after it and go get it. He's going to make Phoenix dangerous. I think Phoenix may have gave up a little too much to securely say that they're going to be the champion this year. But we'll see how it plays out. I know KD, if he's healthy, he's going to do his thing. So to me, it doesn't impact his legacy anymore. I used to fall victim to that, but now I think, we just looking at him from that same lens that we want to put everybody in, the MJs, the LeBrons, all of that. And I think he fell victim to that hype for a little while, but I think now he's just like, forget it. I just want to hoop. I ain't got a lot of years left in me. Let me get after it. So
I think he want to hoop, and I think basically what I'm hearing from everybody's narrative is, especially Big E, is he's a high mercenary, a doggone good one.
Look at how he changed the whole trade spectrum. They dropped that word, man. That was probably the most active trade deadline I can recall in my years of watching basketball, man.
He do just want to hoop.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna take anything from him, or better yet, I don't take anything from any basketball player that wins a chip. That's a chip. How they got it, that's how they got it. And
that's how they got it, bro.
I mean, at the end of the day, If you don't like it, you know.
And this go back to that old 90s. Back in my day, we stayed in Milwaukee and got our head beat in for 50 minutes.
That's why Chuck don't have a ring now.
That's why Charles Barkley don't have no ring right now. And this is an excellent segue to talk about Dame Lillard. He want to be cut different than all that, and I'm cut from a different mold, and I'm going to stay loyal. And you emailed your boss talking about you needed some more help. She didn't even respond to your emails. Say, man, loyalty is overrated, man. Ain't nobody trying to stay in one spot. Happy was, speaking that old loyalty stuff, if your boss came in and was talking about, now we ain't going to give you no pay raise, we're not going to make your job easier, blah, 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 and XYZ was hiring across the street and they were saying they'll give you $10 more per hour, you gone. Stop the cap, man. In my opinion, I think this is Dame last year in Portland. It's just my opinion. I think this is last year in Portland. I think he see the writing is on the wall. Like, okay, we get it, Dame. Like, you want to do this and you want to do that. Say, bro, you ain't winning nothing in Portland, man. And at the end of the day, you got options. You got options in this thing. You can be the Charles Barkley on TNT in 15 years, or you can get you two. LeBron right down the street. Go down there, bro. Stop playing. Don't go down there, man. You make $400 million. Like, don't go down there. like you're 32 years old. You just dropped 71 on my Rockets. I got the highlights. I don't even want to show them. Just dropped 71 on my Rockets. Don't go down there, man. Stop playing, man. Or go somewhere where you can win, man. That lady showed you what she was about when she didn't respond to your emails, bro. Like, and why would you want to remain loyal to a team like Portland? Anyway, they ain't won nothing since Bill Walton was there. What's your thoughts, King Drake?
Hey, man, I was thinking Dame Lillard to the Lakers or Kyrie Irving to the Lakers. I know what Greasy gonna say.
Oh man, I've been a Dame time
like Dame Dollar
forever, and I'm gonna keep saying this. He's top 10 in the NBA. Period. I mean, he's just playing in a market that doesn't get any exposure. I mean, how often do y'all see a Trailblazer game on TV?
I mean, it all goes back to what me and Doc always argue about, the region. The region, just the way everything is set up. We're not going to see a Portland game on TV. I mean, we're not, unless they're playing Houston, Dallas. Yeah, we ain't going to see one. San Antonio, that's the only time we're going to see them. And
I ain't seen a Spur game in forever, so.
I'm not staying up to no 9:45 Central Time on the weeknight to watch Dame play Joker. I'm just not gonna do it, bro. It's going to come on entirely too late, man. Nah, I ain't gonna do it. I know he's a good player, but I ain't. It's like, and nobody in New York is staying up to 11 o'clock to watch a 9:45, 10 o'clock tip off out west.
Agree with said on this. Don't take that I-5 south. Or hell, said he could take the Pacific Coast Highway and get to LA, baby. He can take the one down. And just look on the coast. That's it. It don't matter.
Do I think Dame is top 75? Yeah. He's top 75. You can't knock it one way or the other. You know
I think he severely gets overlooked in today's game.
Yeah.
It's like the only time people really talk about him is when he does stuff like what he did 71 against the Rockets.
And that game, and like I said, that game
really talk about him.
And like that game wasn't even on TV. So unless you had the ticket or you just a diehard Rockets fan or a diehard Blazer game, you got the clips and that was it. What about
it? He home in the playoffs that one year when he did this. Who did he send home?
Russell Westbrook in Oklahoma City.
That's when he hit that. That's when he hit that 3-pointer from like 30 yards away.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, you know, regardless if they're getting TV time or not, it's still what they got to do on the hardwood. And I don't think Portland is going to ever be able to be in a position during his prime to build that team around him. Now, that could be because of them not getting enough TV time or their, you know, cap issues, paying the wrong people, things of that nature. But at the end of the day, if Dame left tomorrow, are we going to look at him any different? Because I don't. This is what I'm saying about these false facades and narratives that they keep creating for these players. I mean, they got to let it go, man. If you get an opportunity that's a better opportunity for you to further your career, you make that move. You know, it's exactly. So I understand that people keep wanting to go back to this 90s eras and 80s eras when these cats were signing 10 and 15-year contracts. That's the reason why they couldn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? Because they were contractually obligated when they basically either had to quit the game or sit it out, or they had to get traded, or they had to get cut. They had no control over the outcome of their career for the most part.
Well, Big E, I think it looks better as we talk about all these basketball greats. It looks better on your resume to be with one team. It looks better. I mean, because you was there through the thick and thin. If you got one, you got one.
If the team is willing to build. If the team is willing to build.
Yeah, if they're willing to maximize what you bring to the table. Look, man, I ain't finna be one of these dudes that talking about if I do this and I do that and I come up, I'm gonna stay loyal. I'll holler at y'all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, especially if they're not putting you in position to win, say, bro, you gotta go.
Right. It doesn't make sense. You're exactly right. And
what does the loyalty get you? What does the loyalty get you though? Because look at LeBron. Look at LeBron. Grew up in Cleveland. He grew up in Cleveland, played for Cleveland, drafted for Cleveland.
It was a reason to leave Cleveland, Big E.
It was a reason to leave Cleveland.
I mean, LeBron is the face of the NBA, and you're not marketable in Cleveland. You're marketable in South Beach. You're marketable in LA. Yes. I get that move.
But what I'm saying is, how is it not loyal for him to leave and then come back and get them a chip before he goes on with his career?
You know what I'm saying? I'm not coattailing LeBron, but LeBron did Cleveland a favor. It shouldn't be to go back there and get you a chip. Hey man,
they should be praying. They should be worshiping LeBron.
Exactly.
Dude, the only thing I don't like about the whole players being in more control, because I hate that the players were getting screwed back then, but it just turned into a bunch of, all right, let's see if we can put together the all-star super team and then crush everybody. That kind of made the league kind of take a hit.
So let me ask you this, because I was thinking about this point earlier. If it wouldn't have been for the Dream Team in '92, do you think people would have started wanting to team up with stars? Because that was technically the first time that players from rival teams got together. And I think they saw how big of an impact that Dream Team made, and that became something that they consistently carried on throughout the Olympics. And it created that culture for people to want to play with the players that they admired instead of being rivals. So it's like, if you look at the historical aspect of it, I think that's what you got to contribute to it. Yeah, these athletes more friendly than the rival era. Yeah, because they don't have to hate each other to get their money and to win championships. Why bring that
so watch this though, Big E. On the same hand, it takes away from the game. Think of it this way: Magic versus Bird. You want to see that basketball. You know why? Because we know the history between Magic and Bird. They played against each other in college. Here they go again, going to play against each other in the NBA, and they don't like each other. That's basketball. You want to, because now you got blood, sweat, and tears coming, because every time Magic do something, Bird coming back, and every time Bird do something, Magic coming back. I gotta beat this guy. Not
what you
Big
fail
E,
to realize.
We're gonna chop it up after the season.
But what you fail to realize is that was the culture of that era. You know what I'm saying? You're asking for an era that did not grow up that way to play that way.
I'm not asking for. I'm just simply stating that I think it makes the game softer now, because it's like, oh, I'm gonna go try to get Big E and Greasy on my squad, and then we're gonna go against Doc and whoever he go get, and now everybody wants to build this team.
So it makes it softer for who though? It makes it softer for who?
The NBA
because
as a whole.
If you look at
the NBA as a whole is not a good product, man. We've already
said that. I think all that teaming up stuff
is not a good product.
I think that's what kills.
It's not a good product because of the style of play. I think what gets lost in this whole Magic Johnson and Larry Bird thing is both of those teams had 3 or 4 All-Stars apiece. Some of them have been a little bit older. Like you got to remember, Bill Walton. Yeah, his knees was bad and all that stuff, but that was a champion. You got to remember,
were they not drafted? Were they not drafted like that?
Hold on, you got to remember Cornbread Maxwell. That was a Finals MVP player. You see what I'm saying? Jabbar was an MVP player. You see what I'm saying? Worthy. You got to remember these dudes, like, and then
that's what I'm saying. They were drafted like that.
No. A lot of these players can't be. A lot of these players came via free agency. They was already stacked. Magic and Bird just kind of put them on the top. And I think what gets lost too is it was Magic and Bird. It was black versus white. But at the end of the day, it was the dollar. It was Lakers versus Celtics is what really sold it, people.
But you can't tell me nobody was thinking.
Teams, but it wasn't teams. I get it that the Lakers got Kareem, but that was 2 years before Magic got there.
Yeah.
But Magic, Worthy, AC, all them boys were drafted. That's just good.
Yeah, they were drafted.
Scouting.
Norm Nixon was there. He was already an all-star guard. They had Bob McAdoo, former MVP in the ABA. I'm saying.
McAdoo came in 85.
Yeah, it was. They were older. They were older, but you got at the end of the day.
What was the knock on McAdoo though?
There was a lot of firepower. They got rid of golly, I can't think of his name.
McAdoo was considered selfish.
Yeah, so which one of those players that you're talking about right now would you say was a Kevin Durant type of player?
Well, they already had Kareem and Magic. I mean, they had James Worthy. I mean, come on. That was 3 at the top.
I'm saying, which one of these guys you saying is Kevin Durant, or which one of these guys you saying is LeBron James that went to that team?
Oh, I see what he's saying. I see what you're
saying. Oh, well, you know
I mean, it's not that, okay, even via free agency, any of that. None of those guys that they got was a Kevin Durant or a LeBron James.
But what you're failing,
not that they're not good, but they didn't get those caliber players.
What you're failing to realize though is they didn't have that opportunity then.
Yeah, they really didn't.
If that opportunity would have been there, you can't say what they would have done.
They really didn't have that.
I do know that the product that we see right now, it's just not a good product, man.
It's not a good product.
And think about the small market teams. Now the small market teams just got smaller.
It's not a good product. It's
already bad that they small. But now they really got small.
It's not a good product.
Who the hell want to stay in Utah when?
I'm going to mute you, man. It's not a good product because of the style of play. Like we grew up on inside out basketball. Now it's just chuck and buck. That's what makes it a bad product. So I'm hoping one of these dudes, like I say, just go down there and just dunk on everybody every time they get the ball, and that'll force everybody else to go get another big man, and we can get back to it. That's what makes it a bad product.
Well, let's go
around. Everybody's
around.
running the same plays. It seems. That's it.
That's it. There's no identity.
It's not really the style. That's it. It's not really the style of basketball for me that makes it a bad product. It's what King touched on. All this, my boy King over there, I'm gonna go about EO, I'm gonna go about. That's what I don't like. What I don't like.
Here's
that's
the thing,
what makes it bad. I mean, because I've adapted or had to learn to adapt to this. That's like last night. I'm watching the Lakers and who did we play?
The Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies. We had a 2-on-1. I don't even get this.
They stopped and shot the three.
You going to the cup, and you got a dude running the lane. Man, give him the ball. Now let me throw that out there.
What about a juice, man?
Well, we were talking about Dame. I think what's unfortunate is that, he's trying to bring a championship to a team that drafted him. I can't believe he's been in the league more than a decade. The guy is unconscious. I mean, he's hit plenty of walk-off shots in playoffs and regular season games. The dude can do it all. I feel bad for him that Portland can't get any help for him. And so I have the most high respect for him because he's trying to do something that, that the other greats did, where they stayed with one team and then they lead their teams to the finals. And it's just unfortunate. I feel bad for him, but I respect what he's trying to do.
If you ask,
that's just what I got.
And if you ask all those players that retire without no championship ring, 9 times out of 10 of them, They'll tell you that was a sucker move, and they should have got the hell out of Dodge.
They should have.
Chuck,
I agree.
It was actually, you know who told LeBron James leave Cleveland?
Oh,
Kevin Garnett. He said if he'd have known what he know now, after he won in 2008, he said he would have gave Minnesota 5 years max. I'm gone.
But see, Chuck got screwed over though.
Here's the thing with Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley was this close from becoming a Laker. Phoenix stepped in at the last. Can you imagine a team with Charles, Magic, Worthy? Come on, you're not gonna beat them. You're not gonna beat them. And I don't even know if Jordan gonna get six rings.
So what I gather is, in a nutshell, what I gather is, it's okay if the team does it. It's not okay if the player does it.
That's right. That's backwards. That's backwards. To me, it is. That's backwards.
The players are the product.
If you read what's said, it's saying I basically agree that it's in the era that we're in right now. It's a money grab. It ain't about the game anymore. It's about the dollars. It's all about the dollars, and that's why the game. That's why the game looks the way it looks.
Would y'all play in Portland? Would y'all play in Portland?
It should have always been about the money. It should have always been about the money. Look, if you're an athlete, let's take athletics out the equation. At the 9 to 5s that we work, you better be trying to maximize and get every dollar you can. And if they don't want to give it to you, you better go somewhere else.
I totally agree with you.
So you can't blame these athletes for being like, okay, at the end of the day, you're going to talk about me like a dog if I don't win nothing anyways. So let me go over here and let me just make this happen.
Let me ask you. You got, all right, all of us in the NBA, let me go around the table. All of us in the NBA, you know Dame out there in Portland. You're a free agent. You a top 10 NBA player. Which one of y'all going out there to Portland to play ball? I got all night.
That kind of defeats your
Toronto.
But that kind of defeats your narrative, though. That kind of defeats your narrative, though. Because you're talking about how players want to team up and play with each other.
Exactly.
I mean, so if
Greasy, it depends how much they paying me, Greasy. It depends on how much they paying me.
I'm just going by on today's standard.
But even in that, even in that, you gotta know. We gotta know they cap. Can they even afford to bring somebody in? What do they have to give up to get somebody to come to Portland?
Well, they got rid of somebody. He was on all the chips.
But what I'm saying is, this is the player's fault. How? These are team decisions. These are teams are over these budgets, not players. Teams are. So so for a player to waste their prime career in a city that can't put pieces around them so they can compete for a championship and then turn around and be judged for the fact that they don't have a championship, I'm chucking deuces.
I am too. I'm chucking deuces. I totally understand what you're saying.
Let's understand something, fellas. Let's understand something. And this is what disgusts me about basketball. There's no NBA Hall of Fame. So you're going to make the Hall of Fame regardless. There's the Basketball Hall of Fame, meaning I can have a stellar college career and a boo-boo NBA career. I will be in the Basketball Hall of Fame. So he's going to still make the Hall of Fame. He's going to still have a legacy and all this other stuff.
I don't think most people would blame I don't think most people would blame somebody for trying to maximize their potential and maximize.
Everybody in the whole world crushed Kevin Durant.
Did you know that at any given day you can walk into your employer's HR department and negotiate your salary? I just read a study the other day. And you have the option to go somewhere else if they're going to pay you more. Now, if you want to stay there and hope they see your worth,
you damn right. You damn right.
That's why most Americans get fired. I have never given my employer the satisfaction of firing me. No, because I know my worth. Especially living in a city like Dallas and Houston, I'll go across the street and I'll be working for your competitor and I'll wave at you on my lunch break. No, I'm gonna go in there and ask you for this. I'm gonna go in there and ask you for this extra. I'm gonna go in there and ask you for this extra money. And if you don't get to me, I'm gonna look somewhere else. So you really can't
I'm
blame.
about to go work with Dwight and them.
You really
That's
can't.
what I'm
You
telling
really
them.
can't.
Dwight around
You really can't blame the athlete. But that's a wrap
why
on
did they
that
crush
segment.
Kevin Durant like that though?
Juice
I
man,
understand what you're saying. He got crushed.
what we got, Juice man? What's going on in the world of sports today?
Well, so over the weekend, the quarterback for the Commanders, Carson Wentz, got released.
Ain't no damn surprise.
Guess it's about time, right?
Right?
So yeah, he's no longer with the team. They finally let him go. I
Don't
think
come to
what's
Vegas.
yeah, I think what's unfortunate for Wentz was that he was drafted second in the 2016 draft by the Eagles, and despite coming from a small school, North Dakota State, NFL scouts, still felt like Wentz had what it took to play in the league. I mean, he had the measurables: 6'5", 230 pounds, had a rocket of an arm.
But
2017 was probably his best year as a pro. He threw for 3,300 yards, 33 TDs, 7 INTs, and he was even considered an MVP candidate that year. Um, but there was one particular game that I remember that kind of changed things for him in a bad way. I think it was against the LA Rams in the Coliseum. It was late in the third quarter. They were in the red zone, and he drops back and he scrambles, and then he decides to tuck it and run it in the end zone. And so the good news was he scored a touchdown. The bad news was that he tore his ACL. And so after that, Nick Foles took over. After Nick Foles took over, it was a wrap. He never got his starting job back.
But Juice,
And then
that's not what's going on with this guy.
no wait, I'm not done yet. And then and so they ended up winning the Super Bowl the year after that. And then Carson Wentz's play never really got better after that. And then 2020 was by far his worst. Threw 16 touchdowns, 15 INTs, completion percentage like 60, and that was ranked 29th that year. Um, so and then after that, his QB coach Frank Reich took the coach job, and then they decided to trade Wentz to the Colts, thinking that Frank Reich can fix him. So he joins the Colts and was 2021. The Colts already had a good team. I mean, they were just a quarterback away. They felt, and he showed poor leadership. He was playing hero ball, throwing into coverage, and they finished a record of 9-8 and missed the playoffs. They lost to a bad Jacksonville Jaguars team that year, and then that was it. They figured out, well, Frank White can't fix him, then we got to get rid of him. And then that continued as he went into to join the Washington Commanders, and we saw how that turned out. So I just think that how his career started, we thought that, many people thought that he would be, a solid pro, but he looks like now he's a bust. And it's just amazing how how your career starts to how it finishes. And so I don't know what's going to
Boy,
happen now, but
our boy Scoops got to jump in. He said he got the money and fell out of love with football. He said he'd be surprised
I
if
think
he continues playing football even as a backup. That's our boy Dre Lindell, man. He's got a podcast, so you see it right there. Scoops got
everybody's
some good
missing the big
content, man.
picture.
Y'all slide on over there and show him some love over there, man. He showed up for us. So if y'all see that right there, slide on over and hit that subscribe button for your boy, Dre Lindell. Check him out.
I think everybody's missing the big picture on Carson Wentz. It ain't got nothing to do with no money. Fell out of love with football. The biggest knock on Carson Wentz, and I'm gonna take everybody through the halls of, or we're gonna take a little trip to the past, to another team in the NFC East that had another quarterback just like this. This guy is not coachable. This is the biggest knock on this dude. He does not listen when it gets in the huddle. He is not coachable. Yes, he got hurt. His team won the Super Bowl. It was a quarterback that was just like him. Just like him in the same division. That was Jay Schrader. Uncoachable, does not listen. Got hurt. Team won the Super Bowl. Guess who was the quarterback? Doug Williams. This is the same parallel. Those that forget history are doomed to repeat it. This guy doesn't listen. And this is where the hero ball come in at. Trying to do too much. But that's the main knock on this guy. He don't listen. And he's no different than Jay Schrader. And he's just like another quarterback, Jeff George. Don't listen.
I think what I saw in Carson Wentz when he was coming out of college was he was too tall and too much body, and they was hyping him up to be the next Ben Roethlisberger. But he was just he always looked kind of gawky and awkward when he was running. I was just like, hey man, it's just a matter of time for this dude to get hurt, and I didn't want it to happen, but it happened. But at any rate, I mean, I guess that's a wrap for this section. Real quick before we slide up out of here. I just want to go down the panel, pick a team. Who wins? The Redeem Team or the Dream Team? I'm going to say the Redeem Team. Bird was too old, and the rest of Clyde had a bad knee, and that's just what that is. Michael Jordan is not beating off Dwayne Wade, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. He ain't doing it. So say, I want to be like Mike and your Gatorade and your French fries and your posters and all that. The Redeem Team beat the brakes off Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Karl Malone and David Robinson. I ain't trying to hit. Save for somebody else. That's my pick.
I'm going to say Redeem Team, man. Redeem Team would win.
Redeem Team by 30. It ain't even close.
Well, y'all know this Redeem Team, prior to Kobe Bryant getting there, they were getting bounced. And it shows the greatness of Kobe Bryant. Hey, to go behind Kareem, give me the Redeem Team.
Clean sweep,
Kobe
buddy.
Bryant, baby.
Clean sweep, man. Redeem.
And Redeem Team all the way around. I guess it's just what it is. Hey man, y'all come on up. It's okay. Y'all come on up out of 1993. It's over. And look forward to what sports in general has to offer. But that's a wrap on this one, man. We're gonna put the thumbtack on the map. We're out of here. Audio gonna drop Friday night. We'll be back next week. We want to talk a little more basketball. Spring training's going to get ready to pick up. We're going to have some conference tournaments to look forward to. And then we're going to see if Drake can hit this 300. That's next week, huh, Drake?
I don't know. I might need another week.
Nah, man. You can't be doing it, bro. We got these people all hyped up, man. Try to see some action, man. You know?
Come on with the weights.
Yeah, with the 300, man. He gonna come out of retirement. He gonna try to hit this 300.
You got this, man. You got this.
Man, y'all knock it down to 250.
You got it. He gonna hit it right here.
I know I can do 250. That ain't no thing.
Y'all do it right now.
All right, man.
He gonna hit this thing right here. We'll try to see if I can talk him into it next week. But at any rate, it's been a good one, fellas. I appreciate all your work. Ran a little bit long on this one, but it is what it is. Just on Sports Show every Friday night, 8 p.m. Anchor FM, Spotify, and Google, Apple Podcasts. Thank you for watching on the YouTube channel. Dr. Producer, and Breathe It On, Juice Man, the Boogie, Big E, and DJ King Drake. We'll catch y'all next time. Y'all be easy.